start. 2 letters, meaning of life. Yeah. How we doing? Previously on Kimba TV. So if you're in the long, that's awesome. Your TP1 should be VWAP. And really, like, this box is resistance. You know, it was resistance yesterday. So if you are in a long, I would say TP1 at VWAP, and then TP2 or the biggest chunk of your TP at the 95.5. But it's Friday, y'all. Thank God. I cannot wait to sleep in tomorrow. No alarm. Yes, let's go. I aim one says, what should I do now? Catch up last 2 YouTube recap? Yeah, always. Yeah. Because, you know, this game is reactive, right? It's like chess. So you're thinking of all the different possible things that your opponent could do, aka the market, and you're thinking of all the different ways in which you would react to it. You have to, like, I would never try to TA without getting caught up if I miss like a couple days worth of price action. Just because it would be like trying to watch a TV show and skipping like 2 episodes. Shit's not gonna really make sense. You might not have a level that you should have. Yeah, so I would definitely get caught up so you can understand new levels, how we put those new levels. But like conceptually for today, right? We have 13 minutes and then like unemployment and non-farm payrolls are coming out. So like you could have a little bit of volatility, but you already have things like RTH gap, for example. So you know that RTH is going to open here, right? And so we're going to have a gap. We spent like an hour and a half talking about all the ways that we would play this. So even though you might not be fully caught up on the last 2 days, at least you know what you would expect and what the invalidation is and how much time you would allow it and et cetera, when we get the RTH gap play. So you can be ready for that, right? The reason why I ask you to kind of get caught up on the levels is because, one, if you miss the 15-second alpha TA, if you ever show up to a stream late, you want to rewind and get caught up, okay? We talked yesterday about how this zone right here is going to be big resistance, okay? So it should be no surprises that it's doing this. All right. If you lose 94, you're probably going to rotate all the way to this side. Obviously, it doesn't have to be 94. The bing bong ding dong that we identified were these 2 buffers. And so really, if you lose 93.7, 93.8, you know, basically 94K, then you're going to be rotating back down to 92. All right. So levels to the upside. Okay, and then levels to the downside. Obviously, you got the single prints right there, but you know it's level to level. So those are the levels that you really want to just kind of pay attention to. Okay, Grim says that's where the settlement is also. Yep. So that would be like a very similar, like a bullish retest, right? And if you remember, we never got the trident on CME. So we talked about that yesterday as well, and how you would have to be, you know, aware of that move. So losing value area high or losing the bumpers would be, you know, not necessarily like bearish, but you would try to make a higher low at that point. So it's very similar to this structure yesterday where we just made a higher high. So you're going to have to make a higher low at some point. All righty. And then I have longs basically all the way from here to here. I don't think I'm going to TP anything here. I'll probably try to TP everything right there. But obviously, if we start to lose this, and non-farm payrolls is bad, and as soon as we lose this red line, and I feel like we're going to lose this, that's when I would close out the longs. So that's about it. Level to level, these lines have been on the screen for about a couple weeks, so this is what we're looking at now. Yeah, Kachoya, let's go, let's juice. Let's juice, come on, let's juice, let's go. You gotta brave, let's go, let's juice. Yeah. Let's go, squeeze on him. Let's juice, let's go, let's juice. Let's go. Cut, joy, Shiba, yeah. Let's go. Do you believe? Let's go. Too easy. Lions, do you believe? What do you think? Pair ACL OMG says, what the fuck just happened? Somebody didn't pay attention to the plan, huh? Hey, anytime you show up to a stream late, exclamation, rewind and try to get caught up, okay? Even yesterday, I was talking about if I was gonna short, okay? Do you remember yesterday me talking about, man, I really wish it had gone up here and we could have shorted big? All right, so you got to identify levels, brother. It could not. You can kind of see it, okay? I started with saying, hey, if you lose this, what do we say, chat? You're going to go all the way back down here, okay? And like really losing this was kind of like your last line of support if you were going to try to be bullish. That's why you even saw like a little bit of slowing down there. Okay, but I mean, it's math. What do you guys think? Does anybody have that clip where I said, yo, you lose that, you're gonna probably we'll see you on the other side of the bumper? All right, so just math, just prep work. Easy to kind of know that that's really big resistance. Easy to understand that if you lose that, you're going to melt all the way down to the other side. Yeah, now what we're waiting for is to possibly see a bullish trident. So make sure you get caught up and rewind. Some of you guys made great observations about how that's the settlement right there as well. All right, but doesn't, I'll say it every day, but it doesn't really matter if you shorted right there, because I even told you guys, I'm not shaving my long here, and all I knew was, hey, if I feel like we're going to lose this or this, then I got to get out right away. So yeah, that's it. Everybody Gucci. Stop the music. Norla says, haha, I don't get the game. As long as I get the copy counter trades, everything is fine. That's hilarious. You might have missed it, man. We kind of narrated all of it. So if you want to, you don't have to. It's Friday, but maybe over the weekend or something. There were people asking point blank, who has the edge, right? So that's the kind of question, like, what you want to do is have a protocol of a thought process. So I'm looking at structure first, or I'm looking at S&P first, or I'm looking at order flow first, but have your own sort of, this is what I'm going to start with. This is what I'm going to look at. I'm going to look at next, a hierarchy, if you will. All right, Norlut. So were you here earlier when we talked, we said at the end of the day, who's got edge? The bulls got edge. All right. It's stuff that we've talked about where, you know, we identified this level as, let's go with juice and come on, daddy needs a new Bugatti. We identified that level, but we also identified that level, man. Alrighty. So if you wanted to long, those were, you know, places. If you wanted to short, you could have, you know, but at this point, like I was already kind of telling you, hey man, some people are already going to market smash and put post limit orders and get filled there. Some people are going to wait for the bullish retest. And that literally happened in front of our eyes. Did it not, chat? Did it not just do a bullish retest? You know, we drew it just like this, and there you go. So everything looks good. You know, now that golden pocket can turn into support, you've got a higher chance of making a higher high. And so we're going to be coming into this box. We just talked about this box. So if anything, Norlet, okay, there's two things. If you're not in a long, don't worry about it. But if you are in a long, you want to be thinking about TPing and shaving. Okay, if you don't want to shave or TP, or you're not in any position, you have an opportunity to maybe take a short. Okay, now you don't put blind limits in here to just blindly take a short. Okay, you have the zone identified. So what I want you to do is start to think about what would make it indicate that it's bearish. So earlier I talked about swing failure pattern, okay? That would be structural edge, okay? That would say that it's better than a 50-50 chance that it's gonna dump, okay? I would love to see shorts get squeezed. I would love to see longs get trapped at the top, okay? I don't know if I'm gonna get any of those things or everything. Okay, so again, you would have to prioritize. Well, if I get a bunch of top longers trapped, but you know, there is no CVD divergence and it's not a swing fail pattern, I'll still take it. Like, you need to start preparing and planning. Okay, you with me, Norlet? But to be honest with you, I'm glad that you said something and you said, I don't have a fucking clue what's going on, because it's always an opportunity for me to just kind of interject and connect the dots. But rewind and talk, listen to how I was explaining the whole fucking day, my guy. Okay, and you can really just start with the morning, because I was already talking about and planning for this shit and this shit. Okay. And yeah, this is gonna get exciting right here, y'all. Hopefully you were able to follow along and you understood, like, you know, bullish retest here. You know, again, this was an opportunity for you guys to either market long or go post only. I said that at the moment of. I was almost hesitating to say it, because if you understood what needed to be said, I probably didn't need to say it. You know, if you didn't know that I was gonna say something like that, and you hear me say, you know, people might be market smashing long right here, I didn't want, like, you know, people to do it. But you guys starting to understand why you might want to do post only limit orders, or like basically market in, because you don't have a guarantee that you're gonna get a bullish retest. And, you know, you have to be aware of the bullish retest on just straight up golden poquito, you know? So like, your risk reward thought process is, okay, I can market smash here. My stop loss is right there, right? If I get filled on the golden pocket retrace, where is my stop loss? You know, and if I'm not gonna if I don't fill it, I don't get filled, and I'm market smashing on this red line, then where is my stop loss? So as long as the thought process was there, you could have longed here, you could have longed here, or you could have longed here. And depending on where your entry is, your stop loss and profit and invalidation is a little bit different. Mathematically, you know, we should be able to make a higher high because we turned golden pocket into support, right? But this guy might need to TP a little bit on the higher high. Whereas this guy might just say, fuck it. I'm going to, put my stop loss and profit, behind the red line and get nasty with it. Episode says, I've longed red line to be honest. Hey, is it making sense? Do you realize the importance of anticipation? Shit goes fast. Ka-ching! Dovcia says, stop the music, stop the music. Stop the music. Dovcia says, pixel box, what the fuck? Yeah, pretty crazy, right? But also, do you know what it really is a pixel of? It's not really so much of the box as it is as its own golden pocket. Look at that. It's actually pixel fucking the golden pocket, not so much the box. It just, is overlapping. So like, for example, let's say, I'm not saying that it's going to, but let's say, for example, that it rejects from the 7.5 or the golden pocket and it starts heading down. When it breaks the 0.5 or the 382, I will pull the swing low, swing high. And if the reaction is brrrr, okay, this is when I'm taking that short. I hope that made sense. Like, don't let shit surprise you, So, yeah, and everybody ready? If it swing fails, everybody ready? What a failed auction would look like? Everybody ready? What it would look like for 3 drives? Like, you could be bullish and you may want this sweep. Because you're thinking to yourself, what I want is for RTH to clean and then pause, fuck around. During the weekend, it starts to drop. Price opens, CME opens. It's a bearish gap. Dip your toes in and go clean. And then you don't have to short this anymore. This would maybe be the 109, the all-time high. The timing kind of matters for some people because it all depends on, does CME get cleaned or does it not? And the what ifs and the plans would change. For example, let's say that CME doesn't clean the high, okay? So it just kind of fucks around. Okay, it doesn't clean, okay? Then you would have to figure out, well, fuck, CME hasn't done it, but like if on Friday night or Saturday night, if derivatives do it, well, then you have to make a decision on if you want to take that short before CME gets swept, And then the domino pieces of which gap do you want to be open or closed starts to change too. So, yeah, that's why, like, when people come in here and they're like, yo, but 8 hours ago, you fucking said that this was bullish, man. I'm like, dude, 8 hours ago, bro. Like, come on. It's much more important to be able to read the data than to memorize or repeat what I said before. There's such a big difference in understanding. All right. Anyways, we Gucci. I'm going to read your question out loud again. If BTC goes to that orange line down below the box, but above the low, is it considered higher low? Yes. And you don't have to like get caught up on the rewind 1738, but we talked about it, right, my guy? Hey, so you know what that would be? During Macaulay, you had the like a baby trident, okay? That's like your stepbrother, like your special quote unquote stepbrother trident, okay? And fuck, who was fucking asking about this? Oh yeah, 1738. Hey, and guess what? So even on ETH, since it was during Macaulay, it didn't get a chance. Okay, 1738. And so this is why I wish you could have been here in the morning. But there were two sort of ways that you could have looked at this. Okay, one is that this is the trend line. You know, I guess like you see the point of control right here? You see that point of control? So I'm going to put the line, the neckline at the point of control like this. Okay, you see it? And some people are going to argue, hey, all right, 1738, you with me so far? Can I get a yeah? Okay. So this could have been the trident.
Latuche, motherfucker, the math is the math.
Right there. Okay. So let's kind of go with that. Which brings us to, you see the point of control, it all lines up. So what does this look like to you? What does that look like to you? 1738? So this level that we're at, this golden pocket, Fibonacci, this just whole range in general, kind of important, but it's weekend. So it's hard to even trust what it would really do. Okay. So I think everybody can kind of see, it would basically be this. Okay. So everyone can kind of understand like the importance of that level. Okay. Now that being said, everybody can also see what this is. So I think you just kind of start with, okay, the most obvious thing that it would do would be a swing fail, right? Or a 3 drives or a failed auction or whatever the fuck. Whatever it does, it's not going to matter because CME is paused. So that means that you don't get to clean the high on CME. So even whatever you do, regardless of if it's a swing fail, failed auction, 3 drives, whatever you do, that high is not cleaned on CME during the weekend. So what are you going to do if it breaches that level and does any sort of bearish structure? And what are you going to do if it just continuously makes a lower high? And then boom, during RTH or maybe on Sunday when things resume, you clean everything. You know, maybe it does like a goofy ass bing bong ding dong flag or whatever. And then it pops, you know, target, whatever, a little bit, clean, swing fail, and then come back. And then maybe end of Monday or beginning of Tuesday, the local low gets put in, and then we're longing the SFP of 90. Why should we clean the high? We left bad lows at the bottom as well. It's just, well, that's why I don't know if you heard it, Cream, but it's whichever one it does, it'll invalidate the lower one or the above one. So if it cleans this or it cleans this, then I don't think I would long this or this or this. Who is this? Mex says, Kiba, I hope you have a great weekend and come back fresh on Monday. Thanks for your time. Well, Mex, if I do a surprise short, but a surprise weekend altcoin nerd out, would you show up? Yes or no, Mex? If I do a surprise weekend, like a 2-hour altcoin nerd out, would you show up? Just you know, do a little VWAP, a little anchor VWAP, a little Fibonacci, a little fixed range. Steve says, did you not get stopped out? No. We did this live as well, but where do you think I moved my stop loss to? Maybe even if you were paying attention, did you see me when I casually moved it? Maybe you just saw me when I casually moved it, but I also drew this with you guys as well. So I almost did, as you can see, and you can also do this on MEXC as well. So yeah, none of the 7.5 got tapped. Really, if I had a better entry, I would have liked to put it behind the 886 and 914. But we kind of drew it like this, and this would be like the failed auction, you know, once it can breach a lower low. Yeah. Do you want to talk about a short if you, like if we get stopped out? Because that's an easy one. Mo Guy and Steve, do you want to talk about what the next short would be? Does anybody want to talk about that? And we can talk about it if it breaks to the downside and up. Candlestick Fartanachi says, I want to talk about a short. Okay. Steve says, I'm in from 94820. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yep. So I think, Steve, you heard me talking about where the stop loss should be for that. So you already know about that one. So there's a couple of ways that I think you would take it. If you started to put blind limits, I don't know how you would put just blind limits here because you know that that's a sweep level. So let's just assume like somebody put blind limits like this and they got filled a little bit on the bottom side or whatever because they had the box the same way that I did. That's cool. I think most people, if you were gonna short, they had the fib like this. And you're getting, you know, maybe it's Kimba box. Ideally, it does exactly what it did and it doesn't go back into that box. It's a bearish retest, right? So we pulled this. I'm pretty sure we pulled this before it even went up there, right? As soon as this was in, I think we pulled it. There's got to be a timestamp from Houston, but yeah. So I mean, maybe you go 1, 2, 3, 4 between the golden pocket and 7.5, but probably this is one of those where you could make it bottom heavy because you don't really want to spend time in the box anyway. So you could still put it at 7.5, I guess, and try to get a little lucky. But anyways, this is great. So if you're not in that short, your stop loss is right there. Your next opportunity to short is kind of happening right in front of your eyes. Maybe some people already closed it or gave up on it. It doesn't look that great because you don't want to be building value at golden pocket, okay? But it's the weekend, so things are always just going to take time. So it's this whole 7505 golden pocket is going to be resistance. So if you wanted to short this, anything between the 0.5 and the 618 is totally acceptable. And then that high, that market structure high, is basically your stop loss. Or you could put it behind 382. All right. Let's say, for example, you don't want to take this short. Okay, or you're going to miss it or you're going to pussyfoot it. Well, the last refuge that you have is a bearish retest, which is a confirmation. So some people are going to say, hey, this is the bottom. Okay, that wick doesn't count. There's too much volume being built up right there. So some people are going to say this is the bottom. So some people are going to look for breaking of this. It doesn't have to break that yet. Look for a bearish retest. When you try to take it, now you don't want to just blindly take it. Hopefully you have some sort of edge, like maybe bottom shorters or top longers here or whatever. But hidden divs are always kind of like sweet too. But this stop loss is now going to be something like this. So Invalidation is like right here. You probably should just do something like this because it's weak and it might fuck you up. Just come and grab and then come back down again. But if you want to take that bearish retest, that's your invalidation, because if it changes structure, then the bulls have now, that would be confirmed as a swing fail or failed auction down that way. I'm trying to kick it with you guys as long as possible so we can, 2 minutes has already passed this daily close, what the fuck? Anyways, so some people will consider that is the neckline for the failed auction. Some people will say that it's actually the 944. I'm probably in the 944 camp, to be honest with you. And I would be really suspicious of anything that really happens in between Bing Bong Ding Dong and the red line of North Korea. So if it doesn't go back up, those are the ways that you could be trying to get into a short. And then obviously if it does go up, well, the easiest thing would be a swing fail pattern. The only question would be is you have to make up your mind on what you think is going to happen when CME comes back online, because CME is paused. So CME never got a chance to clean its own high. So I think things like, okay, well, it cleans it, but it makes a bad high. Well, that's obvious. Then that's going to get cleaned during RTH. And, you know, if you are in a short, that's awesome, but you should think about maximizing profits. And then we can see if it wants to clean that weekend high type of shit, you know? So if you wanted to short, if it goes up, it's easy. If it goes down, a little bit more difficult. And also, like, if you were somebody that wanted to short this whole fucking time and you were just waiting for that to get swept, a couple things to think about is, what are you going to do if it doesn't sweep? And what's that sort of trigger threshold that says, hey, maybe you should start chasing it a little bit, or it's okay to chase it in between these sort of price zones. So that's how, like, these sort of levels help you, because if you really wanted to, you can always take that short. I would never do it when there's a poor or weak high like that, because, you know, I think with enough time, it would go and clean it. But I will definitely get in on something like this or something like this. And immediately, as soon as I can put stop loss and profit, do it. Another thing, like something that I'll also do here is when this gets breached, I'll shave a little bit again too. So just in case it does that and it starts heading back up, then I don't get got, especially since I'm going to be on a flight. And now we're going to see, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready? Are you ready? So what's the first thing that we talked about? Do you guys remember? Who was the person that was asking about longs? It's a $5 sweep. It's a $5 sweep, Kimba. Kimba, is that a sweep? Kimba, is that a sweep? It's swept, right? Market long, or right? Well, technically, yeah, it did sweep. You got to give it 6 minutes. So whether it's a sweep here, it's a sweep here, or wherever, if it's a sweep here, the first candle will form, the second one will confirm. All right? I'm not going to put this line. You guys can have it on your chart. I'm not going to put it on there. I don't really like the clutter, but Dayox says, is it wrong to be in a long? No, not at all. No, there is no such thing. There's only bad risk management and good risk management. It's a lot of bing bong ding dong. So, Steve, any questions? Steve, you have a better entry than I do, correct? Steve, we got your ass saying Bugatti money. We got Steve's ass saying Bugatti money. Yeah, I think you have a better entry than I do. What's your entry? Doesn't it start with an 8? 948? Oh, I thought you had a short as well. And my long entry isn't that great either. It's 928. So You guys hold me accountable to make sure that I'm going to bring my best. I'll hold you guys accountable to bring your best. All right, you guys ready? Let's do it. Cachoya, Antonia, Cachoya. All right, I'm out. Longers, I'm rooting for you. Shorters, I'm rooting for you. Bulls, Bears, we're all Lions. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys.